Hi, everyone, and welcome to Faith in an Ever Changing World Encouragement and Hope Faith Story. I'm Janet Harley, your host. And today I am so pleased and thrilled to have with me Robin DeMarco. And you can read all about Robin in the post, but I do want to add that she has a love for people and wants to work in projects that inspire and lift people up. And don't we need more of that today in these days and times? And Robin, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And when we come back, right after this short intro, we will listen to Robin's faith story. We'll be right back. And welcome back. And Robin, thank you again for joining me. And if you will please share your faith story with us.
Where do I start? Thank you. All right. Well, I'll give you the cliff notes because it would go, as John wrote in the Bible, that it would take, I don't know, books and books and books to talk about all that Jesus did and the miracles. It would take so much time to tell how good and how gracious and merciful he is and what he's doing in
Oh,
my life. But I will try to do it within the 10 to 12 minute range. I was actually saved by missionaries, believe it or not, from that were come that went to they were coming to our church from Belgium
uh-huh.
and in York, Maine, where I grew up, and they did what was called the Good News Club. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It was
No.
basically like just a small, it wasn't vacation Bible school, but it was like,
Uh-huh.
and they had children come and they asked my parents if me and my brother could come because they're gonna be snacks
Oh,
and stuff.
wonderful.
My parents were like, yeah, okay. They were okay with it. So we really wanted to go to church. So we told my parents and they said, okay. So we went to church and long story short, the whole family was saved. And
Oh, how wonderful. The whole family.
whole family, my
Oh,
parents, my
Robin.
brother, we were all baptized at that church. In fact, I'm going um, to my brother's wedding in Maine. And I said to my mom, I said, we should go to the church and go back to that church. And we just happen to be staying close by. So it's going to be really cool. I haven't been back there in, oh goodness,
Oh,
my goodness, probably over
how wonderful.
years. Yeah, because so that's the good story. The
Uh-huh.
bad part is I did basically become a prodigal daughter. The things of the world start getting to you, especially when you're a teenager. The
Yes.
pressures. I ended up getting an eating disorder. I had some things from my past that started just resurfacing. That I remember pains, abuse from neighbor and babysitter. Nothing that my family did, but it was just trying to resurface. And I think I wanted to stuff down. And I just started, just kind of drifting away, mostly because I really felt a lot of shame. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that now, I know that wasn't from the Lord, but back then I was like, had that legalistic, like, I'll never be
Right.
good enough. I can't be a good enough Christian. I can't do this. I can't do this. And, I was 13 and just struggling. And I just,
Mm.
um, just started seeing a secular counselor, and she helped with controlling the impulses to act on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
disordered eating behavior, but it was still there. So
Yeah.
fast forward, I go to college and I was going to be a therapist and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this now that I'm feeling better. But I've always liked performing, and it was really kind of a whim that I actually was just like, I'm going to be an actor. I mean, honestly, it's not what I thought. So from New Hampshire, I went to school at the University of New Hampshire, and then I started doing some theater in Boston, And I was like, wow, I'm actually getting paid. It wasn't a ton, but now looking back, it actually was quite a bit. Most people don't hear it. And I said, I'm going to move out to California. And whoa, that was a culture shock. That was just different. And I thought it'd be so easy, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And I just found myself really just wanting to be in anything. And I just, just when the word compromise really wasn't in my mind because I wasn't walking with the Lord then, but I could
Right.
definitely, I was just like, yeah, whatever project, whatever. I just want to work. I just want to work. I just want to work.
Yeah.
Um, the good news about Los Angeles is where I met my husband, and we've been married 10 years, and we live in Georgia now.
Okay.
But it was, both of us as working actors, or sometimes working actors, trying to make ends meet, so it was a struggle. And then
Mhm.
basically kind of hit I want to say personal rock bottom. I think I was underneath the rock. It wasn't even a rock bottom. It was bad. And, um, and I just was like, I don't like where I've become, all those things that, you suppress, all the things that a
Yeah.
therapist can help you with, all that. Like I said, I might not be doing the actions, but I still had negative thoughts. I still was trying to find that completion that I could not find in anything, any relationship, anything. And I just felt like if you saw me, you'd be like, she's fine, she's happy, but there was something missing, and it was starting to really, really eat at me. And I just had one of those moments where I just really, I just surrendered. And I said, okay, I started remembering.
Yeah.
I started having those little memories, and I was like, oh yeah. And I went back to a church, and it wasn't still. I know it was church, but I was like, I don't really feel the presence of God here. I don't feel that what I'm looking for. And then actually my husband remembered a church that his mom used to listen to, named a pastor named Jack Hayford out of California. And we happened to live next to that church. And she used to listen to him, I guess,
Wow.
on the radio or something, because they lived
Uh-huh.
in Chicago. So anyway, so I started going to that church. It was called Church of the Way. And that I was like, I remember walking in to the first time I walked into that worship service, and I was just like, I was like, this is it. This is. I mean, I had chills. I was like, this is the presence of God. And from that day forward, I recommitted my life, got baptized again, and just surrendered it. And that included the career because, you know, at first, God's so gracious and kind. He doesn't just go like, great, you're with me. Let's fix everything in your life. He's so kind. He wants us to be with him. But the closer I did get to him, the more I was like, this doesn't feel like some of the auditions I would get. I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Uh-huh.
And how cool he is that he it's not like you have to white knuckle to like give up the stuff that you used to want. You don't want it anymore. It's like the more
Yeah.
I hungered and wanted him, the more
Yeah.
these things just didn't appeal to
Yeah.
me. So we ended up moving to Georgia because, we thought actually we're having more luck in the Southeast. We had an agent out here, and we just said, hey,
Good.
unfortunately everybody's here now. So it doesn't, but we thought, maybe we could be slightly bigger fish in a smaller pond. And
Right.
out here, and I still was just like, okay, I'm surrendering. And I told my agent I would really like to do faith-based things, and I don't think it's that they weren't submitting me. I just don't think there was that much. Let's be honest. They don't make the box office that other movies do.
Yeah.
So one morning I was listening to the Lord. I was actually practicing listening to the Lord and just sitting quiet. And I just felt him say, why don't you email producers and directors yourself? Like go on IMDb, and tell them you want to be in, faith-based, God-inspired, things like that. And I literally just said to the Lord, that's not how it works. You know, casting. There's this. I already told my agent. I mean, I can't email someone. That's not how it works. And I just kind of shrugged it off. Well, 2 weeks
Oh,
and we had just moved here, so I wasn't very busy in my training business yet. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I felt him go like, literally, what else do you have to do today? I said, okay. And I did it quickly, I'd say, out of obedience. Honestly, I didn't have much faith. I just said, okay. So I went on IMDb, looked up, the few, because honestly, I didn't know that many faith. I know a few faith-based movies. And I looked at the ones that I had seen that I liked, and I wrote to them, the ones I could get emails on.
uh-huh.
I was expecting zero, or because I knew there were, people who love the Lord, they maybe even send me a nice, like, thanks email.
Yeah.
And I did get a couple of those. And then I got one back from Carrie Solomon, who I did not know at the time was doing Unplanned with his partner, Chuck Konzelman, rather. And they said, actually, there is a role you might want to, read for. And then they told me what it was. And I said to myself, there's no way on earth I can audition for this. And it was the movie Unplanned, and it's to play the role of Abby Johnson's mom. So it's a movie about, on Planned Parenthood, abortion, about her whole story of how she changed from pro-choice to pro-life. And it's not that I was definitely pro-life. I just, coming from Hollywood, was like, this is such a hot button topic. I can't drag my family through this. I even was warned when I eventually did take the part.
Yeah.
They're like, you might not ever work again. And, I'm thinking of my husband. I'm just like, it's like, it wasn't just me. So I prayed about it. And at first, me and my husband were like, yeah, we agreed. No, not auditioning. And then actually, he had a change of heart. And he said, I think you should. It's really funny, though. He goes, I think you should audition, but you shouldn't take it.
Oh,
What's the point? He said, because they do other stuff. He's like, I just want them to see what you can do as an actor. Maybe it'll be something like Another God's Not Dead or something. Not something that's going to blow our life up. So I said, okay. So I auditioned, and I didn't hear anything. And I was like, whew, coast is clear. And then I get that call. That's like, we want you. Can you be on a plane tomorrow? And it was one of those. And my husband he was kind of went off to the side. He was quiet, and he came up to me and just says, basically, you got to do this. I can't stop you from doing something that you really believe in, and that's on your heart. And so I give him so much credit because I know, it was a risk for him too. Yeah. Basically. So God protected me through the whole thing. When did interviews, all of it. I never got any backlash.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people that weren't pleased, but I never had any personal attacks or anything like that. Yeah. So it's just, when I finally surrendered it all, that's when I got the biggest role I've probably ever done.
Yeah. Surrender is the key word, isn't it? We have to surrender. Yes, we got to get to that point, and he's opened that door for you. And I'm sure, Robin, that God will continue to open doors for you. And, God's timing is not our timing. So I've spent so much of my earlier years in going ahead of him. And that doesn't work. So I found that out. So, but we do have to get to a point of surrender, and of course, waiting on his timing. It's hard. It's hard, but it's so worth it. Worth it.
So worth it. I've never had more joy in my entire life.
Absolutely.
I tell people sometimes, it's like I feel like it's Christmas morning. I go downstairs. I'm excited about the day.
Yeah.
In the midst of the trials, and especially in this ever-changing world, and it's crazy. I'm still like, I have so much joy, and now it's like my life's mission is literally tell everyone.
Oh, we have a comment here. God bless you, Robin.
Thank you, RH.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Robin, I would like to ask you before we close here, what is one thing that we can do to hold on to our faith in this ever-changing world we live in?
Oh man, I could list off a million that all have to do with him.
Mm,
But in a nutshell, keeping your eyes focused on Jesus is
mm,
so important. But that, just saying that is too vague. So get into your Bible, read his word, read his word, read his word.
absolutely.
Um, you
Absolutely.
can't just get secondhand information. You
Yeah.
can't just get a once a week fill up at church. Dive in for yourself. It is
Hmm.
life transforming.
Yes.
All the
Mhm.
promises are in his word. His very heart is in his word. It's
Yeah.
all in his word. And
Absolutely.
like we were talking before we went live, just how it's changing and it's living and changing in the sense it's this, he's the same yesterday, today, and forever, but he can reach you with that same verse that you might have read 500 times, and then it jumps off the page and it's poignant for that day, exactly what you needed to hear. And you get that Rhema word, that revelation that's just like, it blows your mind. And
Absolutely.
that,
Absolutely.
I mean, and of course, prayer and
Oh,
worship. There's so many things to help you, but that one, it's so hard to boil it down to one because prayer is so
I know,
important.
I know, I know. It certainly is. There are many things that we can do, but thank you again for joining me. And I have put Robin's links. It will show up on my page and on YouTube, and the broadcast is live on my timeline as well. So, but I will add that to my timeline, your links to
Okay,
that a little bit later. But thank you again for joining me. What a wonderful guest and person you are, a woman of God. Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. And I'd like to thank our friends at Creative Motion Network on Roku TV. You can certainly watch back episodes if you are just joining today to see Robin. But if you have Roku TV, please check out Creative Motion Network. Have faith, friends, and look up where our help comes from. Bye. God bless.